E3, aside from being the trade show where all of the biggest new games are announced from the biggest publishers with ridiculous performances on huge stages, should also be known for how ridiculously extravagant all of the booths at the actual convention are. So if awesome new game announcements aren't enough for you, here are my top 3 picks for the coolest booths at E3. I'm Alanah, you're watching Button Bash. Number 3 was a huge toss-up for me. This was the hardest to decide, but it has come down to Xbox. The Xbox booth at E3 2015 was one of the biggest on the entire show floor, with a plethora of games to play, from Halo 5 Guardians to Rare Replay. Wait times were short, there were loads of consoles, and walking space between them was pretty great, but the highlights were pretty well highlighted. To the left of the entrance of the Xbox booth was this massive Tomb Raider display that was like this giant snow-covered rock with a cave on the inside that had like lights flickering in it, which may have been where the game was playable, but I wasn't actually able to confirm that. That Tomb Raider display on its own was probably the size of some of the other booths, and it was super impressive. On the other side, through a neat maze of games, there was a sweet Battletoad statue, and behind that, an actual freaking car to advertise Forza 6 on its own shiny little platform. Our number 2 is Nintendo, for vastly different reasons. As media, it was really nice that they were really organized. They had their own media section that you just jumped in, no queues, no waiting with the public. It was very efficient. But beyond that, Nintendo's shining white beacon amongst all the admittedly gritty booths had so much on show. Almost every game shown at their Nintendo Direct, if not every single game, was playable on the show floor, in neatly separated areas with staff manning each Wii U to teach people how to play. It was friendly and welcoming and organized. Can you tell I like organization here? They also had some unreleased amiibos on show, a Mario cosplayer who was actually really good, one of those like blocks for you to jump at, and some giant pipes. It was all just really nicely decorated. But the icing on the cake was that you could collect these collectible pins if you played every single game in this neat little folder, and I think like that's just so adorable and so much of an awesome collector's thing that people are going to remember forever if they got them all. So for number 1, I do have to acknowledge that the announcement of Fallout 4 has maybe pushed Bethesda into the number 1 spot a little. Bethesda's booth at this year's E3 was a damn sight to behold, basically a mini museum. Depending on which way you entered the booth, in the South Hall of the Los Angeles Convention Center, you get a pretty different show. One side would greet you with a beautifully detailed Mr. Handy robot, similar to the one seen in Fallout 4 trailer that we saw at Bethesda's conference, or in Fallout 3 if you played it. But the special part about Mr. Handy was that he actually spoke in real time. Not recordings on a loop. It was actually someone obviously sitting somewhere with a camera interacting with every single who walked past them all day, every day. It was so cool. Around the corner, you're then greeted by Vault Boy giving you the thumbs up right in front of a slightly smaller than life-size vault door opening into the image of a beautiful, sunny wasteland. They also had Fallout Shelter playable on the floor, which was nice to watch evolve over the course of the show, and a collection of creatures and costumes from Dishonored, including the upcoming Emily's assassin's getup and Corvo Otano's favorite mask. There were even some statues of characters from Bethesda's upcoming FPS MOBA. They didn't have too many games on show, excepting that one, which is Battleborn, but the booth itself was just so nice to wander around, especially as a Fallout fan. So for those who could make it, let me know what booths you thought were the coolest, and for those who couldn't, I hope I get to see you there next year. I'm Alanah, thanks for watching Button Bash.